Hi there, my name is Ryan Candela, and I'm with Mountain States Imaging. Today I'll be showing you how to quickly retrieve records using ImageSilo's built-in search capabilities. So to get started, you want to log into your ImageSilo account. You'll want to choose from one of the available projects that you have on the left-hand side. So I'm going to hop into our HR project, and as soon as I click on that, you can see that I'm immediately faced with a bunch of different search options. So today we're going to go over some of the best ways to use these, and even what some of these features mean, as you may not even know. So the first thing that I notice right away is that there's a previous search that's still cached. So I personally like to come down and click Clear Criteria before I do any searches. Sometimes you'll find that you've left something behind that might be messing up your quick search. So once we've cleared the criteria, we can go ahead and start coming up with ways that we want to search for a record. Now you see, if I just click search without putting anything in, it's immediately just going to go ahead and retrieve pretty much everything that's in that project. Right now you can see I only have 32 documents, but if my organization has several hundred employees and they're all stored within here, naturally that's not going to be a very feasible way to find a record. So let's go ahead and back out, and let's go back into our search criteria. Some of the index fields that I have are last name, first name, employee ID number, document type, the document date, and the employee termination date. So index fields are actual predefined fields that are set up for each project. So each project that you have available to you probably has different fields specific to that set of documents. So in the HR realm, we've got a few that we threw in here as examples. So now instead of searching for everybody, I can come through and search for the employee's last name. So let's say I'm looking for a record from Barry Bellis, and I type in Bellis as the last name. I come down, click search, and just like that, we've reduced it down to 12 documents. Now if you notice, the last name for all of these records is Bellis. However, the first name, I have Barry and I have Frank. So I've got multiple people here. We can actually trim that down a little bit more. So what you can do is you can type in Bellis, and then we can even type in Frank. Now when you start doing multiple index fields at the same time, you want to pay attention to the second box, your project search options. Importantly, the search type field allows you to throw an and or an or between your searches. So I can either find all documents where the last name is Bellis and the first name is Frank, or I can search for give me all documents where the last name is Bellis or the first name is Frank. Now if I type or and click search, this is going to retrieve the same 12 documents because that or clause is allowing us to pull in either Barry or Frank as the first name and either Bellis or Bellis as the last name. So let's back that up and change that to an and see the difference. There. Now as you can see, I've gotten rid of Barry and I'm looking only at Frank's files. Now while there's only 6 documents in here and it's relatively easy to see what they are by looking at my document type, perhaps I want to search and narrow down a little bit further. You know, as some of your employees have been at your company for over 30 years, you may end up having several hundred records for just one employee. So let's back out to search criteria and let's come down to document type. Here, I can type in something like W4 and click search, and when I do that, now I'm actually retrieving all documents where Bellis is the last name, Frank is the first name, and W4 is the document type. So you can see by just utilizing those search index fields, I have very quickly been able to retrieve and find the exact W4 for the exact person that I was looking for, and by double clicking on it, I can pull up that document. Now that's just one way that we can search for documents. So let's back up and talk a little bit about the other way. First, of course, I want to clear my criteria to make sure I've got a clean slate. This next method is called FullText Searching. For those of you that might not know what FullText Searching is, FullText Search is when a document is either A, created electronically, and so it's already got embedded text, Or B, a document has been scanned and then has been OCR'd, or optical character recognized, on the back end using a third-party tool to create text within the document. So what I'm looking for is a document that's going to have OCR in it. So let's bounce back. I'm going to hop over to another project to give you an example of how full text works. Again, I notice that I have a cache search, so first things first, I'm going to clear my criteria. And then under full text search, I'm actually going to type in the words sample. Now, what this does is instead of looking at index fields, this goes into each document and looks for the text within the document. So now instead of searching the metadata of a document or outside of the document, we're actually searching the insides, the content. This can be very useful if you have limited index fields and are trying to find certain things that would hit on a certain keyword. So if I click sample, I don't actually find any documents. Now let's type in OCR, and I have actually pulled back one document, and I can see right here that found within the document was OCR Text Search. So let's double click that document and take a look at it. Well, right here we have OCR Text Search found within a document. So this system has very rapidly gone through and pulled out that snippet of text straight from the document itself and brought me straight to that document. Now, let's go back to search criteria, and I'll go over some of the options for full text search. You may have noticed that there are a lot of different options down here, and so let's just run through a few of them. Boolean search is where you can actually add some of the same kind of philosophies as the search type straight into your criteria. So you can look at things like OCR and sample, and that's actually going to type in, or that's actually going to search for both OCR and sample in the same document. You can actually take Boolean a step further, and you can do things like, I'm looking for OCR within 5 words of the word sample. Where this comes in really handy is when you're trying to look for somebody's name within a document. You can actually search things like, I'm looking for Ryan within 2 words of Candela. And so rather than looking and finding every document that has the word Ryan or the word Candela and you're getting kind of a medley of different things, well, here we can actually find, I'm looking for this actual string of text, Ryan Candela. Natural language is just searching for things just the way they are without putting in Boolean searches. So a few of these other options, you have stemming, phonic, fuzzy, and synonym searching. These can actually come in very handy when you're trying to find something. So let me give you a brief explanation on what each one of these are. Stemming is actually where you have a word that could also make up another word, and so you're going to allow your system to look for those stemmed words. A great example, and I'll type it here in the criteria box, is the word fish. If you check that box, you'll also find words like fishing or fished, because essentially these words stemmed from each other, or stemmed from fish. Phonic searching is just going to find words that may or may not have the same sound. So another great example of this would be Smith, and you might also have Smith spelled like this, or even Smith spelled like this. So phonics, you can turn that on, and it'll find words that have the same sound, but maybe perhaps are spelled differently. Now, fuzzy searching is actually the ability to find a word even if it's misspelled. So let's say, for example, I use the word apple, and I spelled it wrong. Well, you can set your percentage of characters that you want to adjust a level of fuzziness between 1 and typically 10. And so what that's going to do is it's going to look at words that are very similar to that within a 1 or 2 character difference if you set that to 1 or 2. Finally, you have synonym searching. And synonym searching is searching for basically a word in the search request that has other words that are synonyms. The best example of this would be fast, which a synonym would be quick. So the system was actually designed on a DT search platform, and all of these different options are brought to us by that DT search capability. So you can actually take all of these to help try and find those documents that you're looking for quickly and efficiently. So that's it for how to quickly search and retrieve a document and how to use those that search page once you pull into a project. As always, if you have more questions or wish to learn more about ImageSilo or even have requests on videos that you'd like to see, feel free to hop over to msimaging.com and just shoot us a message.